Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the August 18th Committee of the Whole. I am Commissioner Shakira Johnson, Presiding Officer and District 4 Commissioner. So it's been a while since we've had a Committee of the Whole, but we'll get right back into this. So we'll start with our committee reports. Commissioner Terry from the FAB Committee.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I will report on the August 11th Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee chaired by myself and committee members Commissioner Michelle Long-Spears and Commissioner Shakira Johnson. Also joining for the discussion was Commissioner Robert Patrick and Commissioner Nicole Messiah. We had our lead discussion on the Water Bill of Rights. We had a presentation from the Legal Defense Fund Group. And a couple of things I'll just highlight from there that I think COO Williams is going to come back to the committee with is we discussed the current one-for-one debt payment plan policy that's being implemented, I think, in September, is it? When you're doing the one-for-one right now? Okay, so that's launching now. And then we did discuss and actually, Commissioner Shakira Johnson had a really good idea about having sort of different tiers and where we could potentially pilot out different approaches that would be a way for us to study different debt repayment plans. One of the main goals, Commissioners, in this discussion is, one, creating an equitable approach to the past debt, but also with the goal of the policy that will help us recoup the most amount of past water debt. And so we did go through that. So I believe that we did share the presentation from Mr. Wheaton and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, but we'll reshare that as well if folks missed it. We did discuss the Housing Investment Bond Program, and so that was approved out of FAB, and I believe next Tuesday, right, Zach, will have the final bond, I guess, bid or placement coming back to the board for approval. We didn't have time for everything on the agenda, so okay, that's right. Yes, we did recommend approval for the renewal of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta contract for the DeKalb County Water and Sewer Customer Assistance Program. They did request all commissioners to help get the word out about all of the water assistance programs. And so they are eager to come to commissioners' events, have their collateral in our newsletters, et cetera, as we try to get more information out about all of the assistance programs that we've all voted on and supported. So appreciate the Urban League for the work they're doing. And then we did have a couple contracts that I don't need to get into necessarily because they're pretty basic. And we did, and this is maybe just for the good of the whole, the Solicitor General did come to the committee for basically kind of a longer range plan on lease space. And so she requested an additional $106,000 for the remainder of 2026, but basically showed that by assuming the lease of the vacant office space at 160 Claremont from the district attorney's office and some other consolidation, they'd be able to save money between now and 2030. So that was, I think, welcome news, and so the committee did recommend approval of that. And everything else was deferred, so we'll pick that back up next Tuesday at the FAB committee. I'll yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Terry. Commissioner Bolton for the IRPS report.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ladina Bolton, our Super District 7 Commissioner, Deputy Presiding Officer, and Chair of Employee Relations and Public Safety. Serving also on that committee with me are Commissioners Nicole Messiah and Commissioner Marita Davis-Johnson. Our last meeting was Tuesday, July 7th. Commissioners Patrick, Long-Spears, and Terry attended those meetings with us for discussion. We did not have a long agenda that day, but we did have great discussions, one on EMS services. That update took quite a bit of time, the majority of time for that meeting. So luckily, we didn't have a whole lot of other items to discuss, but one of the major items that we're especially proud that was approved is the home rule ordinance to amend the pension code, and this was to add a death benefit for beneficiaries. so that employees could receive their full pension if they were to pass or die in the line of duty. Out of District 1, you guys may remember item 20250683. This was to approve a resolution to address egregious littering and the illegal dumping of scrap tires that have been on the agenda for some time. And we were really excited to go ahead and approve that item and move it forward because community members had been asking about it. Out of District 2, one of the items we had a little bit of discussion on 20260596. As you may recall, this is an ordinance to regulate the restraint and transportation of animals and for other purposes. So we held that item in committee. We do look forward to having a discussion on it this afternoon in committee, as well as item 0728, which is another ordinance out of District 2. And this is to amend the code to regulate the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits in pet shops. So we had not had a discussion on this item yet, but we do look forward to discussing it today in committee. Out of District 6, item 0769. This is a resolution requesting the administration to establish independent civilian oversight and auditing for DeKalb's Digital Shield initiative and surveillance. This one we have not discussed either, but of course it is on today's agenda for the ERPS committee. And with that, I yield back.
Thank you, Commissioner Bolton. Commissioner Patrick for PWI.
Good morning, Madam Presiding Officer, Board of Commissioners, as well as to the public. I'm Commissioner Robert Patrick, serve as the Chair for Public Works and Infrastructure. My colleagues on that committee are our Presiding Officer, Shakira Johnson, as well as my colleague, Commissioner Ted Terry. We have had several items that we discussed before the break. Without going through all of those items, a couple of the highlight items I think are interesting, worth discussing about would be agenda item 2026-1022. This was to allocate $500,000 to bicycle path lanes and multi-use trails for the Laredo the Laredo Drive bicycle facility. Another item of interest is funding has been reallocated to the tune of almost $2.3 million for redesigns on Pleasantdale Road, as well as, Pleasantdale Road, and also under the contractor with Atkins Realis USA. Another item of interest was the North Fork Peachtree Creek Trail from Fisher Trail to Chambly Tucker Road. Those are funds for an RFQ designed ultimately to get the trail connectivity that we're looking to have as a countywide goal. Another item was for South River Trail, Phase 6 near Boulder Walk Drive and Entrenchment Creek to Crestdale Circle. This is money for some funding as well. It's almost like Monday. I apologize for tripping over my tongue in front of everybody. Next item was of interest is 2026-0676. This was an emergency contract for beautification purposes within the county, so not just specifically District 1. That was just under $125,000. I'm trying to find one of our big ticket items, and here is one right here. So DeKalb County has a contract with the City of Atlanta to help manage some of our sewage, particularly on the north side. So we approved a contract for nearly $30 million to make sure that the good stuff keeps on rolling. And then this afternoon, we have several items that'll be coming back up for discussion, several large ticket items. One of them is going to be something for just over $233 million. And it is vitally critical that if you're interested, please attend PWI. We're going to start at 3:30 sharp today because we do have a pretty robust agenda ahead of us. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner Patrick. Commissioner Marita Davis Johnson for Ops. Microphone, please.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Marita Davis Johnson, and I chair the County Operations Committee, also known as the Ops Committee. My colleagues who sat on that committee with me are Commissioner Robert Patrick and Commissioner Ladina Bolton. The Ops Committee met on Monday July the 13th, where committee members was joined by Commissioner Ted Terry. During that meeting, we approved the minute meetings for the June 18th UPS meeting. There were 9 new agenda items. The CEO item 1070 for Operation Hope was approved. Facility management items were approved. Innovation and technology items were approved. 260989 was held in committee for audit review, and 261000 was withdrawn. There were 3 previously heard items. The committee also continued discussions on the standing procedure rules, approving those sections out of the committee that had consensus, which included increment weather, full reading of purpose for agenda items, agenda preliminary items, and preliminary items superseding agendas. We also approved what the charter review was not discussed during that time. The UPS committee will meet again today at this afternoon at 1 o'clock. We do invite you to join us live on DCTV. And with that, I yield back.
Thank you, Commissioner Maria Davis Johnson. Commissioner Messiah for PEX.
Thank you so much, Madam PO. Great morning, all. I am Nicole Messiah. I have the honor and pleasure to serve as the DeKalb County Commissioner, District 3, along as your Chair of PEX, Planning, Economic Development, and Community Services. I serve alongside Commissioner Robert Patrick from District 1, Commissioner Longspears from District 2. Our regularly last scheduled meeting was held on August 11th, and it was a doozy. I want to thank all of those committee members and staff that agreed to stay an extra hour so that we can exhaust all of the agenda. In attendance also was myself, Commissioner Patrick, Commissioner Terry. Again, thankful to those committee members that were here and those individuals that did stay later so we can get through our agenda. There were 16 items printed on the agenda. We reviewed all of the 16 items. 13 were recommended for approval. 2 of those items were recommended for deferral back to the Board of Commissioners on 8/25/2026. One of the agenda items was recommended for withdrawal and due back to the VOC on 8/25. We dealt with the ongoing sound debate, whether or not it's going to be plainly audible or a decimeter. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to resolve that. We had a number of appointments, and just want to, again, congratulate my daughter, who is now at LSU. I'm officially LSU mom with 2 kids at LSU, and congratulations to all of the parents that are now empty nesters like I am. Let's live the second part of life. I yield back to you, Madam PO.
Thank you, Commissioner Messiah. So now we can start our review of the proposed executive agenda.
Good morning, Madam Presiding Officer. Good morning, members of the board. I'd like to begin the review of the proposed executive agenda with the first item under the CEO's office, which is item 1248. And this is the recording, Chief CEO Cochran Johnson's appointment of B.J. Kerr to the Environmental Justice and Sustainability Resident Review Group for a 4-year term. Next item is a standard item 1095 for the airport. Standardized T-hanger space lease agreement with Marvin Soleimani, no cost to the county. Consent?
Consent.
Next, we have under the CEO's office, the proposed confirmation of Terry Phillips as county attorney for DeKalb County. Consent?
I'm good with consent. Attorney Phillips.
Next, we have item 1229, easement abandonment required as a component of the settlement agreement related to Carolyn Roundtree versus DeKalb County, Civil Action 23 CV 3901. Superior Court of DeKalb County has entered March 12th, 2026. Is that consent?
Yes, since we've already.
We've already settled that. Next, I have two items under fire rescue. The first is item 1246, intergovernmental agreement with the city of Brookhaven to enter into a 50-year lease agreement. Next is intergovernmental agreement with the city of Tucker to acquire a portion of land, lot 214, of approximately 1,200 square feet at 4345 Cowan Road for the sum of $58,000 paid to DeKalb County.
Herbs.
Yes, and those are two fire stations we'll be building.
Okay.
Next, we have the purchasing and contracting items. There are two items under FAB.
Mr. Fab Chair, are you good with your items?
Yes.
Yes, two items under FAB, we're good. Two items under OPS,
We're good.
good with OPS, and then there's two items under PEX.
We're good.
Thank you. PWI.
And then there's 12 under PWI.
It is the greatest show.
The greatest show on earth. Yes.
We're good. We're always good.
Excellent. The next item, at the bottom of page 6, is item 1228. Motion to approve the 26-27 agreement with DeKalb County School Nutrition Services for $76,140. Furnished after-school snacks for the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs. Would you like that in PEX?
Please.
PEX. Next, we have under Watershed Management, item 1173, water utility installation for upcoming City of Dunwoody project cost to the county, not to exceed
What page?
$294,225, PWI.
PWI for that one as well as the USG.
Item number 1183 to USGS 5-year agreement. Those two items will go to PWI. Madam Presiding Officer, I have nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Madam Presiding Officer,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could bring to Mr. Williams' attention
Yes,
an
ma'am.
item, please,
Yes,
on
ma'am.
page 2.
On page 2, go ahead.
Thank you. Under Fire Rescue Services 2026-1246.
Yes, ma'am.
The intergovernmental agreement with the city of Brookhaven to enter into a 50-year lease agreement. I believe that's only districts 2 and 6, so you can eliminate one.
Yes.
Brookhaven is
Yes, ma'am.
fully within District 2.
Yes, ma'am. You're
Great.
correct, and this is
Thank you.
the item that you know very well.
I'm very excited about it. Well, it caught my attention.
Yes,
Thank you. Yield back.
Madam Presiding Officer, if I could follow up, agenda, the next item down, 1247, City of Tucker is, this portion of City of Tucker is in District 1, not District 2. That's all that.
Yep.
But it's in the north.
We'll make these, we were so excited about these items, we missed
We
a
just
couple
wanna
things.
move forward.
We'll get it cleaned up, though.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, if we can do our review of the preliminary agenda and the recap. Good morning, Ms. McKenzie.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We'll do the recap first. For item 2026-1248, that's for recording in the minutes. Page 2, item 1095, 1239, and 1229, all consent. For fire rescue, we will take care of those commission district numbers. 1246 and 1247, preliminary with the Stop in the Herbs Committee. 1195 and 1197, preliminary with the Stop in the Fab Committee. 1167, 1172, preliminary with the Stop in the Ops Committee. 0915, 1058, preliminary with the Stop in the PEX Committee. 0767, 0939, 1010, 1030, 1066, 1114, 1117, 1153, 1165, 1168, 1174, and 1187, preliminary with the Stop in the PWI Committee. Item 2026-1228, preliminary with the Stop in the PEX Committee.
We did see a minor typo in that one. In the dollar amount, it should be a decimal point. It's another comma. Bottom of page 6, about to go to 7.
And 1228.
Yes,
Okay, I'll
thank you.
correct that as well. Okay, items 1173 and 1183, preliminary with the Stop in the PWI Committee. Next, we have our Board of Commissioners items. Board of Commissioners, District 5, 2026-1240, an item to record the appointment of Renee Kale to the DeKalb County Environmental Justice and Sustainability Resident Advisory Group as the District 5 appointee appointed by Commissioner Marita Davis Johnson. That is a recording in the minutes item. Item for Board of Commissioners, 2026-1092, approval of minutes for the August 18th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting. Usually consent.
Consent, please.
2026-1234, to amend previously adopted agenda item 2025-0240 with an updated resolution to establish independent CIP monitor roles and responsibilities.
I believe that's PWI.
Okay. For Clerk to the Board of Commissioners CEO, 2026-0704, approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting of August 11th, 2026.
Consent.
And 2026-0731, approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners zoning meeting of August 13th, 2026.
Consent.
Commissioner, that's all we have.
Thank you so much.
And your presentation is on the next page.
All right, thank you so much. So we are now ready for our presentation. We have an update for the 2055 Unified Plan. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Commissioners. I have some paper copies for you as well. Oh. Hi, good morning. My name is Tricia Prevost. I'm the Senior Planner for the Long Range Planning Team, and I'm here today to tell you more about the Comprehensive Plan Update, otherwise known as the 2055 Unified Plan Update. So just briefly in this presentation, I'll be going over our project team, dates and requirements for this update, a little bit of a briefing on the comp plan, what we will be updating, what we'll be adding, so new additions to the comp plan, an engagement snapshot, progress so far, and upcoming engagement as well that we have planned. So first off, this is very exciting. Our project team is all in-house. So this time we did not contract with a consultant. We're using entirely in-house resources with the DeKalb planning team. So some of these may be familiar faces, and we also have some new additions to the team, but we have myself as the project manager, Nicole Marchant as our public outreach specialist, Eva Chavot as a planner, James Burge also as a planner on the team, Aria Moore as our GIS specialist doing all of our mapping and data, and then Kedis Mulat also as a planner. So we have a really excellent team full of a wide range of skills and resources, and so we're very excited to take this on in-house. So some important dates and requirements. Previously, the Unified Plan, the 2050 Unified Plan combined the Comprehensive Land Use Plan and the Comprehensive Transportation Plan into one document. That way these two major plans speak to each other, inform each other, and are aligned with each other. The state, the Department of Community Affairs, requires a 5-year updates of the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. These are state mandated, and we do these every 5 years. And so, but the Comprehensive Transportation Plan is an ARC initiative. And so even though they are unified under one document, the CTP update will come next year when it's funded by ARC. So I just want to provide that clarification. Right now, we're just focusing on the Comprehensive Land Use Plan. And then the submittal to ARC for review. This is where the Atlanta Regional Commission will review the document, ensure it aligns with the region's goals and priorities, and send it out to other jurisdictions for review. That deadline is August 1st, 2027, in order to give them time to review and submit to DCA. And then we're looking at adoption by October 31st of 2027. So we're about a year out from these deadlines, yes, so that's what we're looking at. About a year-long process of engagement. So just a little bit briefly about what is the comp plan. What is the comprehensive plan for DeKalb County? We often call it the planning Bible, affectionately. It is the overarching guiding document for planning and development in unincorporated DeKalb County. It also provides guidance on sustainability, retail, broadband services, transit-oriented development, parks and trails, health and wellness, and arts and culture. So it covers a wide range of topics in the county. This is just a screenshot of the current chapters that are included in our existing comprehensive plan, as well as a map that's included in there of our activity centers. So some of our highest density future land uses that we, aim to promote walkable development and all that. Big fan of the activity centers. Again, some more screenshots of what's, again, a little bit about the comprehensive plan and what's included in there now. It includes things like density regulations for all of our different future land uses. You may be familiar with these terms from all of our zoning cases. Compatible zoning is also included in that. We also included is the community work program. And this is where we schedule out about 5 years worth of projects across all different departments. So planning, sustainability, watershed, public safety are all included in this community work program. And the policy spotlights as well. So for example, in our last comp plan, we included a transit-oriented development policy spotlight, as that's a priority for the county. So we'll be updating a few of those things and developing new spotlights. So some of what's included in this update will be including demographics and community data. So the county is constantly changing. We want to reflect that change and growth. Maps, always got to have fresh new maps. The report of accomplishments. This is not necessarily a report of everything the county has accomplished in the last 5 years. It's more so a report on the tasks outlined in the 2050 Unified Plan Community Work Program. So again, all of those programs and tasks outlined in that, we report on if they're in progress, if they've been completed, and provide that to DCA. So it sounds maybe a little more glamorous than it is, but of course we are always accomplishing things. Then we'll update the community work program. So this is where we'll work with all of our different departments to put this together. So this is a list of implementable projects organized by department, which includes a budget, funding sources, and timeline for about the next 5 years. And then we'll also update our elements. So this is really the bulk of the comprehensive plan and what's required by DCA. We'll update the community goals, needs and opportunities, community work program, broadband services, economic development, land use, transportation, and housing. So like I said, lots of different topics covered, and our engagement over the next year will seek input on all of these topics. Next, we would also like to add a few new things that have become of particular importance to the county. So first, we've heard a lot recently from the community and from the administration about the importance of sustainability in the county. So we would like to further expand the sustainability element in the comp plan, which will lay the groundwork for future sustainability efforts. We've been working with the new Sustainability Office and the Chief Sustainability Officer on the resiliency plan, and so we would be including that. We also want to include small area plan guidelines. There's been an increased interest from the community in small area planning, and we also have the beginning of planning's own on-call services. And so it's important to have clear guidelines and expectations for SAPs, and so just providing greater clarity in that and what small area plans seek to accomplish. Next, this is the thing everyone wants to know about is engagement, community engagement, how we will be communicating with the community and gaining their input. So right now we're in phase 1. This is where we're doing our overall assessment and vision for the county. And so this is where we're focusing mainly on goals, opportunities, needs for the county. And we had our first project kickoff public hearing in June. We also have an open house scheduled for this August, which I have more information later. Then phase 2 will focus on plan drafting and feedback. This is where we get maybe into the more nitty-gritty, get more into a higher level of detail with some of these elements. And then phase 3 will be review and adoption. This is where we take what we've written and bring it back to the community, ensure that it all aligns, and send it off to ARC and DCA and to you all for adoption. So we have lots of different engagement sessions coming up. We will be having our open house this fall, or this August, as well as a visioning series this fall that we would like to go district by district with. We'll be doing focus groups to speak with certain communities and get their perspective. Design workshops. With this, we want to align with our zoning code update as well to make sure that our land use and our zoning speak to each other and complement each other. Another very exciting initiative by Planning Sustainability. Then we'll aim to have our final open houses in summer of 2027. So I broke down here the different types of meetings that we plan on having and different types of forms of engagement. The first is community meetings. These are both in-person, virtual, where we seek to gain broad feedback from the community. So those are open houses, visioning series, and design workshops. Then we have local events. We've been out in the community having pop-up events, attending different county events with our table and some engagement to get the word out. We want to meet the community where they are and not just expect them to come to us. And then we're also really ramping up our online input. So we have our new social media page for planning sustainability where we're getting the word out. We have an Engage DeKalb website, which I have a QR code for. And then we're also looking to develop some podcasts and other forms of virtual check-ins. So that's something new for us. And so that's very exciting. So what have we done so far? So since we kicked off, we have launched the project website and survey, which we have over 1,500 site views and over 130 survey responses. We're always looking to get those numbers up. We have assembled our project advisory group of DeKalb residents to help guide the direction of the project. We have, and we've had 3 pop-up events for project awareness and engagement in which we've engaged over 700 DeKalb residents. So some very exciting numbers so far, and we're just getting started. So ways for the community to get involved. We have our in-person open house on August 26th at 6 p.m. at the Central DeKalb Senior Center. And then the next evening, if folks aren't able to make the in-person, we have a virtual open house with some virtual engagement on August 27th. And that will be recorded and posted online as well. So I'll pause for just a second. This is the QR code to our Engage DeKalb page. If you're not able to access the QR code, you can go to Engage DeKalb and find the project page there on our homepage. So yeah. Put a lot of great work into that and developing that. And that's where anyone can go to sign up for project updates and view the work we've done so far. Okay, and that's all I have for you today. Any questions?
Commissioner Patrick?
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Again, great presentation. Thank you very much. I know in the previous update that we did, there was some controversy over walkability scores for neighborhoods. I don't know where the commissioners feel about that right now, but I would make the argument we should include that. That's a metric that we can include to sort of improve communities in the long run. So I think that would be a very valuable thing to include. The other item under items to be added, if there was a way when it comes to, whatever the categories are within the master plan or within the comprehensive plan, could you guys coordinate with Stacy Greer's team? He has the ability to run, I guess, an economic market analysis, and I think it would be very helpful to have an economic analysis of what our long-term planning is to say this may or may not be supported. It's also another way to sort of let the residents know that we are more attentive to what's going on in District 1. Obviously, with the movie theater, some people hope that there could have been something with more density, more uses on the property, and then we found out, factors such as the lack of accessibility to the property only through Northeast Expressway. There was no little side road that you could get to the property, actually limited some of the development options that are there. So some way to acknowledge all of the things that go into a neighborhood or that are existing in a community, and then can also give us a bit more of a realistic expectation as to what the future development plan, as well as the overall comprehensive plan recommends for our communities.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner Patrick. Commissioner Long-Spears?
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I appreciate your presentation. Always good to see you. I'm going to back us up to, there's no page numbers, so it is the slide titled Important Dates and Requirements. And forgive me if you did discuss this. Madam Pugh, I've found a few errors in the agenda that I will bring up if I could have an opportunity towards the end of the meeting. Okay, so under this slide, previously the 2050 United Plan combined the comprehensive land use plan and comprehensive transit plan. And then you made it clear, and I was aware that the state does require every 5 years an update of the CLUP.
Yeah. Not the best
Not the greatest
acronym.
acronym in the world, by the way. And the ARC will fund a CTP update in 2027. So is your intention to continue moving forward with the combination?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So it was very important last time that we combined these two. Land use and transportation have such a nexus, and they're so intertwined.
Right.
And so that was a big initiative with the last update. And so that's why we're keeping that unified language. We also do have to do some transportation updates with this as required by the state, but we're saving the bulk of it for that CTP update. So they're still going to talk to each other. They'll still be unified.
Great.
They're just not in sync right now, timeline-wise.
Understood, okay. The ARC will fund the CTP update in 2027, so will that be occurring, I guess, between Q1 and Q2?
I'm not sure of their funding timeline, but I can get that clarification for you.
The reason I ask is it states here, submittal to ARC for review August 1, 2027.
Yes, so that will not include the CTP.
I
So,
got you.
yes, so
Okay.
this is the submittal to ARC is just for the land use plan, the comprehensive land use plan.
So the adoption by October 31, 2027, will that include the CTP?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
so.
it'll include some transportation updates. So like I said, we'll work with our transportation department to maybe get an update of a project schedule for the next 5 years. But again, the bulk of it will remain with, there's no state deadline for the CTP. This is just an ARC initiative.
Gotcha.
And so it doesn't have to meet these deadlines.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a part 1, part 2 update,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure they were in sync.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, my next question relates to transportation versus transit. And so Director Keeter is our wonderful transportation director here. And then transit, I believe, lies, I guess, a good bit in parks and rec right now, as well as some transportation. So is the transportation plan that's inclusive of transit as well?
I believe we are undertaking a master transit plan, if that's correct? Yes. And so that will cover transit specifically, so things like buses, rail, access to
Right.
those things. And then transportation, I believe that focuses mainly on our roadways, maintenance, pedestrian accessibility, sidewalks, things like that. So they're kind of two parts of the same whole, but we are undertaking a master transit plan that I believe should be getting kicked off either this year or next year.
So I want to say it might have been my second year, which would have been 2024. I remember there being, and I guess some thought around combining the transit with the transportation plan. Are you aware of that? And if that's the case, do you know why we've gone a different direction?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can look into that for you.
Please do. And so how do you see then the CLUP, the CTP, working with the transit master plan?
Yeah, so they're very much intertwined. Access to transit is certainly something that is a walkability
Sure.
and development concern, that we want to make sure our development is oriented in a way that people can access transit safely, and that we also have maybe expanded transit options in the future. So yes, they're all intertwined. Well, the great thing about them all kind of happening simultaneously is that we can all work together and make sure that the goals and initiatives align.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I am almost out of time, but I'll ask the question and then I'll just do a 3-minute follow-up. My next questions will be around the engagement snapshot slide, particularly around the timeline itself, and then in the center, bottom part of the page around local events. And I also will be inquiring, when I have my next follow-up at 3-minute time period, around how we can engage as well. So I'll yield back for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Messiah, and I'm actually just going to keep going down the order.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Madam PO. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys have put into this. I see that, and if we can go back to the slide that has what is the comp plan. Just looking at the small area plans, specifically throughout District 3, just to narrow the scope. I'm realizing that we have at least 1, 2, 3 that are presently going on. All right, and you mentioned the interest. What do you think is driving that interest?
That's a great question. I think there are a lot of different things that every small area plan's focus is different. So each community's different, our needs are different. And so for some communities, it's a need for housing. For some, it's a need for certain types of, they want to see certain types of development or don't want to see certain types of development. And so I think the interest is really just in, folks want to say in their community and they want to be involved. And I think it's also a tribute to the great work our department does, that we have so much interest in this, and that folks feel heard and want to see the future of their community vision realized. And so I don't think there's really any one specific topic, but it certainly has been really great to hear more from the community and have those projects undertaken.
Thank you so much for that. And so then the other question becomes, prior to the last 3 years, how many small area plans did we have that was driven by the community?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but they all pretty much start as a community vision, whether it's we get the feedback directly from the community or they go to their commissioner. But yeah, they're all community driven. The basis for all of them is that community input.
No, I get that. And so do you know if it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3,
No,
or?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, all right. Well, good to see the community getting now more involved and engaged in this. I yield back to you, Madam P.O.
Thank you, Commissioner Messiah, and I'm just going to keep going down in order. So Commissioner Marita Davis-Johnson, do you have any questions? All right, Commissioner Terry.
I would like to say thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Thank you, Tricia, for the presentation and update. For the timeline in terms of engagement, what is the marketing plan for advertising the surveys, the open houses, all the workshops and things where the public can attend?
Yes, so the main way for us to reach out to folks is our newsletter, as well as our Engage DeKalb updates, as well as social media. So those are kind of the bulk of where our posts, are going. But we also do have a budget for things like paid promotion. We have we are working with Watershed to include inserts into future water bills so that everyone who gets a water bill in DeKalb will get a pamphlet about this. And then in-person engagement as well, so handing out flyers and ensuring all of that.
Okay.
And then we've also we've provided materials to you all as well for your staff to send out to your district.
Okay. Do y'all have the capability to run ads on social media?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's the budget for that?
I'm not sure of the exact numbers off the top of my head, but we do have budget set aside for that.
Okay. And then do y'all have a texting platform?
No, we do not.
Okay. Would you consider getting a texting platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I can work with our engagement specialist and management to look into that.
Okay. I mention it because I've had good success in the past of people who just, generally are like, I'm busy and I don't check my email, or maybe I didn't see the social media posts. And so, we can get people directly where they're at, which is where they're usually they're with their phone almost always. In terms of the to be added section, so the sustainability element, so that's something that we're adding this year.
Yes, so previously it was just a policy spotlight. It was just about 2 pages, just highlighting the importance of sustainability in the county. But now with some renewed interest, we've heard lots from the community, as well as the appointment of the Chief Sustainability Officer. We'll be working with them on their new initiative as well. And so if their sustainability plan is adopted prior to our completion, we'll make sure that we, are completely aligned there.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really just again something we've heard a lot from the community to expand.
Yeah, and I appreciate the sustainability being added to it. When I first got on the board 6 years ago, I advocated that the county hire a sustainability director. And of course, the CEO at that time said, why would we do that? So that was an interesting conversation at the time. Of course, I got no support from the commissioners about it. But since that time has passed, the sustainability director role and the theory of that position in city government and county government has actually become a little antiquated, because now the focus has gone from sustainability to resilience.
Yes.
And so I would encourage us to, you could say sustainability, but we really need to be factoring in resilience, because if
Yes,
this is a
absolutely.
2055 plan, number one, we know that the state of greenhouse gas emissions in the world is increasing at an ever rapidly rate. In fact, actually, most of the new carbon emissions that will be produced in the next 10 years will come to power data centers, for instance. And so we should be connecting the dots on, one, how we are more sustainable in DeKalb County and our community, but also realize there's forces that are beyond our control, and that if there are more powerful and dangerous storms, if there are longer periods of power outages, if there are, 500-year flood events, then what we're talking about is, whole sections of the county, neighborhoods that could be impacted for not just days, but weeks and months because of those superstorms. And so building in resiliency into our planning, to me, makes the most sense. And, the thing I think that has been talked about at the national level as well as ACCG is the idea that the county should be, and counties and governments should be, creating resilience hubs throughout their jurisdictions. And a resilience hub, quite frankly, is just a place where the people can go when they lose power, can't refrigerate their medicine, can't charge their phones, might need shelter, might need access to food, for instance. So those are things to add to that sustainability element.
Yes, absolutely. And
Thank you.
we've spoken with the CSO, and she did place that emphasis on resiliency, and so we'll be aligning with that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Terry. Commissioner Bolton.
All right, thank you, Madam P.O. I am going to jump back to the slide that says, what is the comp plan? And as you were going through this slide, some of the things that came to mind is essentially the sequence of steps leading up to the update. Can you reiterate whether you start with the community engagement and then you do economic research, and what comes after that before you synthesize the update?
Sure. So recently we started with just a review of the existing comprehensive plan. What do we think is working well? What do we think needs to be updated? And so that was just kind of a staff level review, discussions about how we see it implemented in our day-to-day work and what is working and what are maybe some sticking points. And then with that, we go to the community and kind of see, okay, well, what's working in your community? What's maybe not working in the community? And then sort of align those. So first, our first phase of engagement is really focusing on those community needs. Just baseline, what is the top priority for the community, and then we'll tailor our approach from there. So again, we've heard a lot about housing affordability recently. Last night we had the open house for our comprehensive housing plan, and so that will be used to greatly inform the housing element for this plan, as well as community feedback. And so, step one is that analysis, is that feedback from the community, just to set our direction. And so we don't have anything quite set in stone quite yet of our priorities, because that'll be what the community tells us.
Okay. And the reason that I ask is because I was thinking about, and I know transit isn't a major part of this, but because it was brought up in the discussion, I was thinking about how the community may suggest things that they would like to see, but maybe it just isn't feasible, or just looking at the future and the direction we're moving in when it comes to technology and advancements. During the process at any time, are there conversations with the community about what's economically feasible when they're giving their suggestions? So maybe they'll broaden the scope of what they would like to see in the community?
Yeah, so especially at the beginning, that may not be something we can address directly, but as we get recommendations from folks, we can certainly do that market analysis, or like Commissioner Patrick suggested, make sure that these plans that we're coming up with are economically feasible, because I think that's what leads to a lot of frustration is when the community asks for something, we say, yeah, that sounds wonderful, we can have a walkable utopia, and then, just the economics of that maybe don't pan out. There's market involvement that we don't have control over. And so that is certainly something that we've heard a lot recently. We want to make sure that while we're dreaming big and dreaming for the future, that it's attainable, because we don't want folks to, be disappointed or have a reasonable timeline of things. And so, yes, certainly that's something that we'll incorporate.
Okay, and then on the slide that reads at the top, to be added, under where it says small area plan guidelines, it's clarified that it's important to have clear guidelines and expectations for SAPs. And with those guidelines, does it include strategy, execution, and follow-up when it comes to the small area plans?
Yes, so all of
Okay.
our small area plans should include an implementation timeline. Projects that are implementable, for example, maybe a trail construction, or smaller scale things like an update to an overlay code and things like that. So we try to encourage, we require our consultants to include that implementation plan, but also for community-driven small area plans, the implementation strategies are very important. We try to have like maybe a short term, so 5 years, and then a long term, 10, 15, 20 years, because some things are just much further out. But yes, and they should also be realistic, and so that's where that market analysis and economic considerations come in as well.
And then really quickly, that was a quick 5 minutes. I don't think I had 5 minutes. And I know we talked about this a little bit when I had my meeting, but about the annual check-ins. An example, recently there have been some concern regarding active small area plans and then rezoning changes going on at the same time. And I think a part of that is us keeping top of mind what is happening, has happened, and we're looking forward to happening in communities. So what is the plan for annual check-ins, both with the community and commissioners, regarding the small area plans, so when we're making decisions, we can make them well?
Thank you. So we can get her to answer that on your second round? Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioner Davis Johnson did have a question.
Okay, thank you. I have more of a comment, and that's in relations to what Commissioner Bolton stated when you talk about ideas and budget. I think that if you can suppress the ideas of the community based upon the budget, I would think to encourage ideas, you should let them flow. And if the budget does not support those ideas, that it should be, I would think, stated later in an attempt to try, especially if they're great ideas, to look at all of the factors surrounding funding. And then if it doesn't work, let the community know. But if you begin by the budget on your ideas, then you will suppress the free flow of ideas, and I don't think that that's very wise in communities.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Davis Johnson. So now I'm going to go back through the districts in order to see if there's follow-up. District 1.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Just to a suggestion for the slide that talks about the engagement snapshot. The Kroger at Chambly Tucker Road is a fantastic place to have a pop-up engagement, and obviously lots of the community gets there. There's lots of reader boards, so that would be a great place to post something. Commissioner Masai was sort of asking, the benefits or the purpose of the small area plan, and I know that there's a couple state legislators that watch us on a daily basis, so good morning. But in my opinion, this is just speaking from a District 1 perspective. The engagement we've had over the small area plan in District 1 was phenomenal. And I know annexations can be controversial, but there are a lot of residents that still believe in DeKalb County. And I think that that's worth noting through all of this conversation. The idea of the small area plan, in my perspective, is it puts it there. There's a reason to be there. There's some kind of economic hub or activity that everyone pays attention to. How do we amp that up? How do we make that grow for the community, but also for the benefit of everyone in DeKalb County? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Patrick. Commissioner Long-Spears.
Thank you very much. So I will continue where we dropped off. All right, we're on the engagement snapshot, the engagement timeline. Thank you so much for mapping this out. That is very helpful. The Central DeKalb Senior Center, where you are hosting the open house next week. Unfortunately, I have had a meeting for the Women's Commission on my calendar since May, so I'm unable to attend, but we'll send someone from the District 2 office. If our Chief of Staff will please make note of that, Ms. Smith, okay? We'll make sure we get someone there. My next question for you is the visioning series that you're going to begin and conclude between September and October, and you stated you'd be doing one in each district. Is that correct?
Yes, so
Okay.
we were inspired by our comprehensive housing plan and the wonderful work they did with the community conversations.
Right.
So those were district by district. So this is that just a slightly different name. But yes, so we would like to have one in each district with the super districts. Happy to add them on wherever they would like to go. But yes, so we'll be reaching out to schedule those. But yeah, we would love the involvement from each of the commissioners. But yeah, so that way we can go to each district, have those district-specific conversations, and again, meet folks where they're at. We don't expect everyone to have to trek across the county. We want them to, be able to participate where they are.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited that y'all are doing that. Your local events, the pop-ups that you referred to, so fall is a pretty busy season for at least my office, maybe for everybody. And we do have quite a bit of community opportunities, like fall festivals, things like that. If we would like for y'all to be present as a pop-up at any of these events, I guess on your team, do we email you and just request it?
You can reach out to 2055 Unified Plan at DeKalbCountyGA.gov.
Okay.
That's our kind of general email for that, and it's monitored by a few staff members. And
Fantastic.
Cole, our engagement specialist,
Okay.
will help set that up.
Chief of Staff Smith, if you'll please just make note of that, because we have quite a few community events we can invite them to. All right, moving on, what have you done so far? And this will conclude my question, so if you could respond. It says you assembled project advisory group of DeKalb residents. Can you tell me more about the composition of that group?
Sure. So we reached out to the community councils and got one member for each, including the Super District 6 and 7 representatives. We also included our DeKalb ambassadors, which are a product of the Community 101 program, which has seen a lot of success. And we also got a representative from Planning Commission, and I believe a couple other just folks that have been involved in small area plans that we know have been involved with the planning process. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Thank you. Commissioner Masai, do you have a follow-up?
I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to start, Commissioner Patrick. I think you misheard what the question was. It wasn't what is the benefit of a small area plan. It was what's driving the interest of the small area plan, particularly as it's my understanding we only had one that was community driven. That's why I asked, just in case something had changed. We had only had one in DeKalb County, and now we have 3 specifically in my district. Also to understand that some of which came about while there was a vacancy, and there is being driven, some of which by commissioners, opposed to the community's just genuine interest. And so wanting to understand and thankful that planning is putting together, sort of a SOP as we go about working with the community to get those done, so that we all have a clear understanding as to what that would look like. I wanted to gauge from planning's perspective what the driving factor was, since we have so many where we didn't have them before. But there's definitely a benefit, obviously, in the community being involved in what they want. I support making sure that they understand, as we've held meetings with a planner in and around that, who's been working with our planning department, and we have from the onset, driven by the need of, based on another one that was happening, and me not being engaged. And so we want the community to understand what their options are. I think it was very healthy and helpful because the community got to see and participate in not just what they did not want, because we hear a lot of that, but we don't typically hear and understand what they do want, and for them to understand what's even feasible based on what their desires are. So being able to work through that process with planning, with specifically the community and driven specifically by the community's needs, I think is extremely helpful. So I wanted to understand what was driving it. But very thankful to planning, everything that they've done and will continue to do in all the small area plans that are happening in and around District 3. I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis Johnson, did you have a follow-up? All right, Commissioner Terry.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Tricia, on the transit-oriented development portion of this plan, so because I guess it was like 2 years ago, the board did approve the transit-oriented development rezoning of Kensington and Indian Creek. Those, in a way, we've kind of checked that box. And so I'm curious how you're treating transit-oriented development moving forward, because these are the only 2 transit stations that are within our land use and zoning control. So what are y'all thinking is the next step for the transit-oriented development piece of this plan?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we are expecting the South DeKalb Transit Hub, as well as that's a new bus hub by MARTA that will be, I believe, coming to the South DeKalb Mall area. So there are more opportunities for transit-oriented development. We have, even though there's only those 2 stations in unincorporated DeKalb, we still have more stations where we can see more high-density and walkable development around not just high-capacity transit, such as heavy rail in the Kensington and Indian Creek, but also bus stops and making sure that folks can get around the county without the need for a car. So TOD doesn't just stop at the big TOD projects, it goes all throughout the county.
Okay. I might suggest that we begin to rethink how we're framing all this, because this is the 2055 plan. If you look at a recent Goldman Sachs report on the number of passenger and freight vehicles in this country that will be autonomously led vehicles, it's 65%. So when you start adding in autonomous vehicles into the nature of how we look at transportation and really mobility, a lot of the old modes really just don't make sense. And I think for DeKalb, what we have to be cognizant of is, while we're updating our transit master plan, the end result of that master plan is still going to tell us the same thing that we already know, and that's that heavy rail is too expensive to build per mile, light rail is too expensive to build per mile, and we've come to find from MARTA just earlier this year that bus rapid transit is $100 million a mile. But if you look at autonomous vehicle per mile, it's close to 10 million a mile. And for the Parks Department and the Trail Vision Network, which is designed to connect all of DeKalb County with a trail network, that whole plan would apparently cost $78 million. So I think what we need to be doing is thinking about what in 2055 we're actually going to be doing in terms of transit. It's going to be autonomous vehicles, it's going to be micro-mobility, and it's going to be not getting all the way across Atlanta, it's going to be getting to the grocery store within 15 minutes of your own house in your own neighborhood.
Thank you, Commissioner Terry. Commissioner Marita Davis, you did have a follow-up?
I'm sorry, you've recognized her 4 times now. to
I
speak?
did not.
This is her fourth time.
It is not.
Okay, so you called on her 3 times then?
I've not had my subject.
She declined. I asked her
did
if she
not
had a
have my
follow-up, and she
second.
declined. That does not count.
Okay, so she did say something
Commissioner
earlier.
Terry.
All right, this is the third time you recognized her, just trying to follow the rules.
So I'll recognize, would you like to be recognized again, Commissioner Terry? Does it count how many times? If I ask her if someone has a follow-up, that does not count as being recognized. If they just say, I do not, I just want to say thank you. I didn't count that. So if we can continue, Commissioner Davis Johnson.
Okay.
And that's my purview to have that loophole.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Each district is different, and I think that that's the importance of listening to your community, because I think that if one community that may have, one district that may have heavy rail, tell another district that does not have heavy rail, that is too expensive, then I think maybe the citizens of that district that doesn't have heavy rail may want to see options and have discussions to find out funding. So I don't think that any of us should sit here and say what is too expensive for another district, especially if they have it in their district. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis Johnson. Commissioner Bolton, your follow-up.
Thank you. I want to start by commending you guys on the work you've been doing with the Community 101 projects, because we've really dug into the Read-In 101 to try to support that community through what their vision is, and then having an opportunity to almost from the very beginning be a part of the small area plan that's being developed in District 1. It's really great to see how the community also dives into that. But one of the things I was curious about, because I am advocating for small area plans, is how do communities know that that's an option? How do they know what that is in order to initiate the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's something that anytime we get comments from the community, we let them know about this option. However, there is a level of kind of organization and focus on a specific goal and topic that there needs to be. So sometimes it can be part of that work is to make sure that they have something specific that they're trying to achieve. And so it's certainly something that we're trying to get more education about through the community, Community 101, as well as developing these guidelines as well.
Okay, wonderful. And, how much time do I have?
Yeah, 'cause we can't see that. There we go.
Okay. And so that kind of brings me back to what I was communicating before, which is more of a comment, but if you're able, I would like you to respond to it. With the small area plans, is there any strategy for check-ins to make sure we're executing, and with respect to whatever the strategy is, we're following the timeline? Because as I mentioned before, we have an issue currently where a community is working on a small area plan, but some zoning changes may potentially impact that. And the more informed we are as commissioners and the community, we can prevent impeding the process for the implementation of these plans. So kind of how can we work through that?
Yes, so when it comes to implementation, we do try to make sure that we have strategies that are realistic in timeline and scope. And a lot of that follow-up comes from different initiatives, different departments. For example, with the Stone Mountain Trail Master Plan, a lot of that, the implementation strategies were directed towards the Parks Department, and we worked closely with them to make sure that we were aligned there. Sometimes it's development and market trends that we don't necessarily have control over, but sometimes it comes with a zoning code update. So we try to make sure that we're coordinating with departments to make sure that we're not assigning things that aren't going to be achievable or doable by another department. But yes, sometimes that responsibility gets sent out. Yeah.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you so much. I did have two brief questions myself. Most of the commissioners' questions helped clarify some of the ones that I had. But for outreach and attending commissioner events, if you can't have someone physically there, can we at least get some flyers or something that we can also hand out?
Yes.
That would be great. Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely. Anytime you need anything printed, we'd be happy to provide that.
Perfect, thank you. And then we talked a lot about community engagement, but how often will we be hearing back from you at a Board of Commissioners meeting on the process and updates?
Yes, we'd be happy to do check-ins however frequently that you all would like. We would ideally be doing one with each phase at minimum, and potentially more based on the feedback we get from you all. But we also would love to do individual check-ins, make sure that your own district's priorities are reflected. And so, yeah, we absolutely intend to be up here. You'll be seeing a lot more of me.
We're always happy to see you. All right, that exhausts my questions. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Great, thank you.
So now we will move into comments from the board. I will start to my left. Commissioner Terry. I believe it was 5 minutes, but we're not seeing the clock. It's black right now. There we go. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, for the opportunity to bring some updates. So again, happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back from the break. I know Zach's been busy, so, I know you appreciate the kids are away on vacation. I want to start off first by thanking the many DeKalb County staffers for their contributions to making our last 2 months of the summer very successful. A couple highlights. We went bowling with our Aging in Placers group over at the bowling alley just outside of Decatur. We did a dive into DeKalb pool party and back to school resource fair at NH Scott Pool. We hosted our second annual Youth Pitmasters competition with the Department of Youth Services. We worked with our talented team of DeKalb County Youth Commissioners and interns. We also partnered with Georgia Tech and the Aging in Placers to do a study on retrofitting homes for seniors. And this past weekend, I was a guest judge with Commissioner Johnson for a delicious ribs cook-off and cake bake-off. Although there was only one entry into the cake contestant, but she definitely deserved to win. And I took some home with me, had some later. And the ribs were a little bit tougher. There was 3 different rib ones, but we picked the winner.
Tougher
to
select, not tougher.
It was actually very tender ribs. Last night we did a really great event with Invest in South DeKalb, Decide DeKalb, and the DeKalb County Tax Commissioner's Office discussing Candler Road business investment and reinvesting in South DeKalb. I'm thankful also for the DeKalb County department's involvement in these events. So all the events I mentioned earlier had Parks and Rec, Office of Youth Services, Planning, the Police Department, Fire and Rescue, Library, and our other education departments have all tabled and joined us in the events that serve our community. The Aging in Placers have been hosting tours and events to engage and educate the community about essential topics such as housing, so really encouraging folks to come to the housing meetings. Our Resilient DeKalb effort has moved forward with our steering committee, and we're working on meadow projects, nature walks, kudzu removal in protected forest areas throughout DeKalb. I always encourage folks to go to my website, www.commissionertedterry.com, to join our monthly newsletter so you can keep up to date on everything. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok, so don't look for me there. But, and also if you do see Sergeant Jenkins of POW, go on Instagram and tell him good job for getting pushed into the pool by some of the lifeguards and kids at the NH Scott Pool. It was a lot of fun. Let's see here. We have some events coming up that I'll just mention. We are doing the Be the Change photography artwork installation, which is a pollinator-inspired photographic art installation by Lori Lejeune. First, it's going to go to Legacy Park in Decatur, and then we're going to be taking it down the Stone Mountain Trail from Avondale, Scottdale, Clarkston, Tucker, and then all the way out to Stone Mountain eventually. We are bringing back our Shakespeare at the Park event. It's going to be Shakespeare at Sunset this fall. So look for its return to the Town Green and Avondale Estates at dusk on October 10th, November 14th, and a special holiday performance on December 5th. There might be a tree lighting involved, as well as other tree lightings around the county if commissioners are open to it. I know Commissioner Patrick is. We are also gearing up for our free Climate Film Festival at Porter Sanford on Friday and Saturday, October 23rd and the 24th. We'll be featuring the films Groundswell and The Tree Economy, and we're also seeking short film submissions by Georgia filmmakers that are relevant to topics of environmental justice and climate change. There will be panels, interactive artwork displays, tabling, and lots of good conversation. So please submit your short film outline by September 8th, so in a few weeks from now, and the links are all on our Instagram bio. And then finally, August is Happiness Happens Month, which is great. That sounds fun. So appropriately in closing, consider this inspiration to connect with a loved one or a stranger and share some happy vibes. And don't forget yourself. Embrace your own happiness and share it with those around you. We can be the change we want to see in the world, and that change starts from within. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Commissioner Longspears, all right. Commissioner Messiah, you're next.
Thank you so much, Madam P.O. August, well, even prior to August, I mean, guys, I know that we've had some time before we had an opportunity to be able to give comments to the residents here, but it has been a month of progress, partnership, and community. And one of the phrases that captures it perfectly is, "Here we grow again." But before I talk about progress, I want to extend my continued thoughts and prayers to all of the residents of District 3 who are no longer with us, and to the family, friends, and loved ones of Coach Buck Godfrey. He was no more than a godsend to the students there at Southwest DeKalb, and coaching them in so many different ways and aspects of life. His impact went far beyond the sports, though, as he touched young lives, strengthened families, and helped build a kind community. And that's what we all want here in District 3 in DeKalb. We will continue to lift him up in his loss. Also, I want to thank my colleagues for allowing me to serve again as the delegate for DeKalb County in NACO. A big congratulations to our IT. I know that they were there and received an award. Congratulations to you all. Big round of applause. So that was a proud moment in them being recognized, and also was able to participate in Grady's TELP program. And we had our Live Laugh, the continuation of our Live Laugh series, which we will have our final next month, just this past Saturday. And again, in addition to moving in my two youngest, I was honored to partner in my stead. My staff, which I couldn't do anything without, was there in my stead with the Stewart Foundation to host their annual financial literacy workshop, and the election of the incoming youth officers. Big congratulations to those youth officers I've mentioned before. We are honored to have Lawrence that came from the Hank Stewart Foundation program. Also, I want to welcome Lauren, who is now a part of our team here in District 3 to help with some administrative matters. It's always important to ensure that we are supporting our student, that we pour into them the sense of financial literacy, leadership, civic engagement, and to build a strong financial future. This month, we also was able to participate for the longly awaited reopening of the Cedar Grove Bridge. After 6 years, this is a vital connection, and it is finally restored here in DeKalb County, reconnecting our neighborhoods, improving mobility, and supporting our businesses and our residents who have dealt with the detours and heavy traffic for far too long. I am grateful to continue to work hard, finish strong, pushing and demanding nothing but progress and the best here in District 3. To that said, I also want to thank Beulah Baptist Church and Pastor Dr. Jerry Black for the Balanced Life Expo and Back to School Bash. When we invest in our young people, we invest in the future of District 3. Also, we started our virtual session of Conversations with Commissioner, where we brought over 118 residents together with Decide DeKalb to talk about the investment opportunity in District 3. You know, District 3 is the jewel, y'all. I will continue to encourage you to and protect you while I'm here and to provide for you so that you can provide and protect for yourselves in my stead once I'm gone. We talked about the Belvedere Plaza renovation, TAD Award overview, and what comes next after the closure of Kroger. These conversations shouldn't happen behind closed doors and get presented to the community after decisions are made. With the future of District 3, it should be shaped by the people who live here. We want investment, business, jobs, opportunity, growth, and truth for the families so that they can stay stable and give local businesses the room they need to succeed. I was also honored to join the Villa Park Food Works grand opening and ribbon cutting. It was no short of amazing. The food is fantastic. The community has very much been appreciating and enjoying it. I've been seeing all the messages with recognition of all of the food options, and that's housing done right. It's, you know, providing not just food and affordable housing, but also providing a sense of peace in their home.
Thank you, Commissioner Messiah.
Thank you so much.
I'm checking in, Commissioner Longsberry is still working. All right, Commissioner Bolton.
Thank you, Madam P.O. And I'm going to start my comments with a shout out to the students at Miller Grove Middle School in Dr. Bolton's class. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you learned something. And so just a couple of things coming out of District 7 the community should look forward to. Number one is our beautification grant for all Super District 7 communities. This is an opportunity for you to fix those fences, any signs at the front of the subdivision if you have one, any community spaces that may have a hazard, a safety hazard that could be taken care of, something to remove blight. We want to help you beautify those spaces because essentially we're beautifying DeKalb and helping make it safer as well. Our youth aviation program, the Super District 7 Youth Aviation Program, has officially begun with the first phase, or phase 0, with awareness. We've had some folks go into the schools to talk about the year-long program that allows students eventually to have exploratory flights, ground school, flight school, all the things up until a handful of students get an opportunity to earn their private pilot's license. So you can go to flywithd7.org to get more information about the program and share your information with us so we can keep you current on what is happening with that program. Recently, we went to Super District 7 supported the Art from the Heart event at St. Bede's Episcopal Church in Tucker. I don't remember the artist's name, but I will tell you the talk of the town was the Swan piece. Everybody loved that one. And congratulations to that artist, as well as thank you to Lois Shingler and Joan Monroe for the invitation. Lois had a couple pieces in there as well that were absolutely beautiful. I also want to give a congratulations to the newest class, number 1225-1225 of DeKalb County Fire Rescue recruits who recently graduated on Friday. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. Happy belated Jamaica Independence to all those who are from Jamaica or identify as Jamaican. Super District 7 supported Benevolent Missions of Atlanta and Atlanta Jamaican Association and their celebrations that they had over the past week. Not only do they do amazing work here in DeKalb County in District 7, but many of you may know recently there was devastation in Jamaica because of the hurricane, and so they've been doing a lot of work going back and forth, even taking students with them to experience the mission work to help the families and students over in Jamaica. I do want to sadly say, but with enthusiasm, congratulations to Nardos, who was executive assistant in our office, she found another opportunity that more closely aligns with her future plans. We're extremely proud of her. Sad to see her go, but definitely proud of her and her growth. Also, I do want to mention that we, out of District 7 and out of DeKalb, want to give condolences to the family of Mrs. Carolyn Jones. She was a 30-year resident of DeKalb County, also served with the South DeKalb Improvement Association, not just as a member, but ultimately on the executive committee. She did pass recently. Mr. Ken Taylor made sure to let us know, and her services will be this week. And last but not least, also a strong congratulations for Doraville. They had their city center groundbreaking. That has been a long time in the making. We were excited to be there with them, to support them, be a part of that celebration, and we're looking forward to how that design will come to fruition and support the community. And with that, I yield back.
Thank you, Commissioner Bolton. Commissioner Marita Davis Johnson, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always ready. Okay. Good afternoon. Good morning, I'm sorry, DeKalb. Hope that everybody was able to take the BOC recess as a time to regroup as we head into the final quarter of this year. This year, my office was a sponsor of the 2026 DeKalb Chamber of Commerce Rural Award, celebrating our public safety officers and departments for all of their efforts to protect the people of DeKalb County. I would like to congratulate each of the Valor Award recipients, as well as express the continued honor of Officer David Rose and firefighter Preston Vant. Also, I would like to state that our beautification grants has opened up, and that they're on our website. So if you see the before and after pictures of communities, you will see what a difference these grants have provided. So please check out our website as well as Commissioner Bolton's website if you need assistance in beautifying the entrance of your community. I would like to congratulate, okay. Also, I would like to say that Hank and I attended a few National Night Out events, especially in the 4th District, my husband represented, and that's at Water's Edge Community. We were engaged with community members and law enforcement officers, and it was a great time, a great night, a great evening. On August the 8th, my Chief of Staff, Demetrius McCoy, attended the DeKalb County branch of the NAACP Health and Wellness Fair at Berean Christian Church. My office was a proud sponsor of this event. I would like to thank my good friend, Reverend Curran Lee, of Berean Christian Church, and the DeKalb County NAACP branch under the leadership of President Edwina Clanton for bringing this event to DeKalb District 5 residents. On this past Saturday, my office hosted the Gen Z Day at Lions Farm. If you are not aware, Lions Farm is in Stonecrest, Georgia, District 5, part of the Arabian Mountain Alliance, and it is a preserved farm that was inhabited by the Lions family for over 150 years. This family of white farmers had slaves laboring their lands up until emancipation. The African American family distinguished themselves by adding a S to their last name and became the Lyons family. I would like to thank our CEO, Lorraine Cochran Johnson, for attending and having Mr. JP there to present to the students and serve them Italian ice in the heat of Saturday. I would like to once again thank DeKalb police officers, the Arabia Mountain Alliance, the Department of Watershed, Beautification, Parks and Recreation, and Facility Management for prepping, maintaining, preparing, and being present on the farm up until the end of the event. It had an opportunity to present to the youth what they had not known, and that was slave labor. And so it's important to keep our history known. And so I would encourage all of my commissioners to have students from their districts to come to Lyons Farm, because history should be cherished and preserved and not forgotten. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis Johnson. We will go back to Commissioner Long Spears.
Thank you very much, Madam PO. Again, I'm Michelle Long Spears, the proud representative of District 2. First, I would like to welcome, although she's been on board now for 5 weeks, Ms. Holly Smith as the new Chief of Staff. We appreciate her very much. She is formerly with the DeKalb VRE, so we're glad that you came back to DeKalb, and I'm especially glad that you're serving as my Chief of Staff. Second, I would also like to congratulate Jackson B. in our office. He is now full-time with the county. So we have Jackson squared on the 5th floor with the D5 Jackson. So we have fun with that. 2 Demetriuses, 2 Jacksons. The DeKalb County Women's Commission is scheduled for August 26th. This is a very important meeting. That is when we'll be voting on our chair and vice chair. So to all of our women's commissioners and everyone who made those appointments, if you do have any interest in your appointee serving in one of those roles, please do advise them that there's an opportunity to make a 3-minute presentation at the meeting next week, which begins at 6 p.m., and it will be held at Claritel Behavioral Health on Wynway. Moving on August 25th, I have a virtual info session at 6 p.m. Very excited, and shout out to Miss Beth Ganga for helping to make this happen. A new District 2 initiative called 250 for 250. So we have put aside a fund of $250,000 in honor of our 250th birthday of our country for park grants for District 2 parks groups. And we're super duper excited about that. And Ms. Ganga, thank you again so much for your hard work. We appreciate it. We just have to make sure we get the word out and we get people to submit proposals for grants. And there is a focus around public art that I'd like to see in our parks moving forward. Next, I'm very proud to say that I was selected to participate in the ULI Center for Leadership program. It kicks off this fall. It's a cohort of leaders from around the metro area to participate. It is a competitive process, and I was truly honored that I was selected. Next, we have a historical marker ceremony with Beacon Hill Black Alliance this Friday at noon in honor of the Muskogee Creek people here in Decatur. Would encourage anybody that's interested to please attend. It's at noon, again, this coming Friday. I also attended the NACO annual conference in New Orleans. Big, huge shout out to Scott and Sam. Y'all have already been recognized, so we don't have to clap again, but a little clap from me. You have been awarded this, I believe, for almost 10 years straight. And that's pretty awesome, and I was proud to be present and to take a picture with you with your award. And Madam CEO was also there, so truly congratulations. In addition, I am very proud to present to everyone here is that I was selected for some important presidential appointments at NACO, which is our National Association of Counties. I was selected to serve as the Vice Chair of Arts and Culture Innovation Council. And second, I was selected to Vice Chair the subcommittee, the Environment, Energy, and Land Use Policy Steering Committee, which I believe Commissioner Terry is a member of. And then I was named a member of several more NACO committees. I'm really, really excited about that. Next week, we're also kicking off on August 26th our On Common Ground Interfaith Initiative. We partnered with Compassion in Atlanta, and there will be 2 more sessions after that this fall, and then we'll wrap up with a community service project. And big shout out to former Chief of Staff Caroline Enlow, who has remained a consultant for the District 2 office, and I'm just always truly delighted and proud to work with Caroline. I also attended the ACCG Policy Committee meetings last week in Perry, Georgia, alongside our state lobbyist, Dan, and that was an informative and, as a policy wonk, fun opportunity. Next week, we are hosting our CEO BOC legislative work session on Thursday, August 27th. It's almost an all-day affair for anyone who would like to attend. It is open to the public. And with that, I will yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Long-Spears. Commissioner Patrick.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Well, as everyone has already said, welcome back from our recess. Although we did have a BOC meeting last week, this is our first COW, and we're all getting back into the routine of things. During the break, I had an opportunity to go to CAPSIS, which is the Chinese American Academic Professional Association for the Southeastern United States. It's a mouthful, but CAPSIS. And we had an association of professionals, really doctors and master's holding degree people, talking about mental health issues that are facing our communities across the United States and really across the world. And that was an entertaining and informative conversation that we had. I have to acknowledge that it's back to school. DeKalb County students, teachers, administrators, and families, welcome to the new year. We encourage parents and guardians to stay attentive to children's behavior, emotions, and experiences as they adjust to the new school. Bullying, isolation, other behavioral changes can be things that are indicators of other problems. At the end of the day, spend time with your kid. Listen to what they have to say, listen to how they're behaving, and pay attention, and help keep them on the right path. Also had the opportunity to go to celebrate DeKalb County's first responders. I was honored to attend the annual DeKalb First Responders Award, where I served as a sponsor to help recognize our hometown heroes. The event celebrated the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of DeKalb County's first responders and their extraordinary acts of service. DeKalb County CEO Cochran Johnson delivered keynote welcome remarks, recognizing the vital role of our public safety professionals in protecting our community. Thank you to everyone, to all the honorees and their families for their service, sacrifice, and commitment to DeKalb County. Want to talk about investing in DeKalb's pet families. DeKalb County has made landmark investments, $1.18 million of an annual investment to expand free veterinary care, spay-neuter services, and pet resources for residents. The investment is already producing results. 3,366 SNP vouchers were issued between January 1st and June 30, 2026. That's only 6 months into our year, of which 1,236 pets have received spay-neuter surgery. Residents can access free veterinary services, including spay-neuter surgeries, vaccines, microchips, wellness exams, and assistance for sick or injured pets, family members. Free pet food bank every fourth Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. at DeKalb County Animal Services. While supplies last, residents and organizations can also request community pet resource event for them. Additionally, I want to share that I had an opportunity to go over to Brookhaven's City Hall for the Latino Community Fund Economic Development Planning session that they had put together. It was very informative. I was only able to stay there for a little bit of time, but the good folks over at Latino Community Fund have put together a very accurate project for moving forward. I also want to acknowledge that the PALS, Police Athletic League Summer Celebration, we had in District 1 for the District 1 kids. Great to have the turnout, great to have the officers' participation, engagement, and great to help out in the community. I also want to recognize City of Tucker at their rec center had Tucker Trivia. This was their welcome back to the summer, or from the summer vacation, and they had interesting little trivia conversations going on, as well as planning for activities for their seniors, and something I'll be talking with our own senior team here to see what else we can do to kind of step things up at DeKalb County. And then finally, I'd like to recognize Mr. Terry Phillips. Congratulations. We're not there yet, but congratulations on your appointment. I think that's a fantastic step for the county, and I think you're a good guy for the job. With that, Madam Presiding Officer. Oh, I'm sorry, my good colleague also wanted to mention that as well, but she did not have time, so this was a joint statement of congratulations, sir. With that, Madam Presiding Officer, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Patrick. I will be pretty brief with my comments, I think. Get the clock reset for me. Thank you so much. So I also attended four National Night Out events. We were at the Village of Stone Mountain, which is a senior living apartment complex, at Flint Ridge Community, City of Pine Lake, and at the Water's Edge event with Commissioner Davis Johnson and Congressman Johnson. Also, recently attended the Scottsdale Early Learning. They had a back-to-school event. Commissioner Bolton was there as well. They have a new director at the Scottsdale Early Learning Academy, Dr. Skinner. She's only been there for about a month, and she got that event together in 2 weeks. She's going to do great things for our community. I also was a sponsor of the Valor Awards, which is always an impactful event to attend as we honor our first responders. It was a busy week of being with our first responders, so I also attended the retirement event for Marshall Richardson, who had put in more than 30 years of service for DeKalb County. It was a really, really good event. Madam CEO also read a proclamation at the event. And I would like to take the time to also congratulate Marshall Vasquez on his new role. He's in the back with us. Good to see you again, sir. I know you will do great things. Congratulations also to our newly appointed Fire Chief, Melvin Carter. Well-deserved, and I'm looking forward to continuing working with you. And Commissioner Bolton, you mentioned congratulations to the Fire Rescue Class 1225. They recently graduated this past Friday. Congratulations. Also, this past weekend, as Commissioner Terry mentioned, we had Scottsdale Day event where we attended as judges along with Clerk DeBerry. And the cake is always amazing, and always glad when I can get extra slices of that. But the ribs were also very good. They were not tough to eat. It was a hard choice to make. Just want to make that clear. But they were delicious. We had 3 options for the ribs. Always a great event, and look forward to continuing supporting that one. At that morning, Saturday morning, I also attended the John Homestead ribbon cutting with the City of Tucker. That is a park that they have in the City of Tucker. It's also in District 4. Beth Ganger from District 2 office was also integral in that work. I saw her there that morning. Happy to see her and all the hard work that her and her park group have done for that event, and for that park. This past week, yesterday actually, recorded our next episode of my podcast, Chicago's Corner. We had Chief Appraiser Calvin Hicks on, so that will come out in September. That was the September episode. So look forward to listening to that if you have more questions on the appraisal process. I did attend the housing plan update last night. Want to congratulate our amazing planning staff for that event. They always interact well with the public, and it was a good attended event, and I know we'll have more and more updates coming from that. Also was able to be part of a panel discussion this past Friday at the Council for Quality Growth Intersection Conference. That was really an honor to be considered to be a part of that panel discussion, and we had a really good time with that. I'm also looking forward to our upcoming retreats, which is the joint BOC and CEO retreat, as well as a BOC retreat the next day, working diligently with Chief of Staff May on that agenda for our retreat. And then just wanted to end with general congratulations to all the educators and scholars on the return back to school. I know you guys will work hard and do great things, so thank you so much for that. So that does conclude our comments from the board. We will have an executive session, but we do need to adjourn the committee of the whole first, so if I can get a motion to.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, show of hands.
Aye.
That is unanimous, thank you. And if I can get a motion to convene a special called meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Show of hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that is also unanimous. And then if I can get a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We are now in executive session.
you. you.
Good afternoon. We are back out of executive session. There was no action to be taken. If I could get a motion to adjourn.
A motion to come out of executive
Oh,
session.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. We'll be back for our regular committee schedule.